Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Four Trained Savages podcast. My name is Rob. Tyler is on the other end of the Zoom room. We have episode number 222,
Sheesh.
getting up there. Yankees, Tyler, officially clinched themselves a playoff spot. They are in the
Top wild
playoffs.
card spot.
They know that they're going to be a wild card team, but right now they're tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for this division race.
Hmm.
Toronto's taking a bit of a tailspin, a smidge little spin. They won
Fraudulent,
yesterday.
dude.
They won. Yeah, I mean, listen, you've been talking about it. We'll get into it, but they are tied right now with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays have the tiebreaker over the Yankees, but the Yankees are certainly right back in it with this last series against Baltimore this weekend back at the stadium. Last time we spoke, it was before this White Sox series, which they took very handedly. They were able to win all three of those games. And then the series before, when we were talking, was Baltimore over that weekend, the long series over that weekend in Baltimore, where we saw Ben Rice's home run, grand slam, and some other
Hmm.
fireworks there. So Yankees right now have 91 wins as it stands on September 26th, and we're going to find out very shortly if this team is going to be a wild card team or if they're going to be a division team.
Hmm.
Talk about it, Tyler. How you doing? I know you're going to go in on the Jays a little bit. We're going to see how this last weekend turns out. Let's go Tampa Bay Rays too.
Let's
So
let's go Rays. It was weird but fun rooting for the Sox this week, Rob. I will say I'm I'm very excited, as most Yankee fans are at this point in the season, right? I mean, the fact that we're sitting here discussing the division is kind of ridiculous. Not even considering where we were in July, but considering where we were, what, 10 days ago? Like the division was an afterthought. 5 games back, I texted you after one of the losses they had. I think it was when they lost to Boston after winning the first couple games ago. Yep, this game losing here means the division's gone. And we were all kind of like in agreement with that. But nuts that we're tied for the division. Still need to get a game on them because they hold the tiebreaker, obviously. But it's a good spot to be, man. I feel like I'm exceptionally a little bit happier with this team because I do feel like to some degree I stayed the course with this team throughout the year. You know, I understood, as we all did, like the defense was disgusting and it needed to change. And Max Fried was bad for 6 weeks and the bullpen was unbelievable. But kind of sat there and banked on the offense. Being the offense is what they've been, the best offense in baseball. And they've cleaned some shit up. Volpe is not really like the starter anymore. He's playing well, but Cabby's in there, kind of seemingly kicking Volpe into gear a little bit. But the team looks good, man. That 1-2 punch at the top of the rotation with Fried and Rodon has been absurd. Quietly, Rob, whispers. Devin has looked pretty good. So that's a big thing. I'm just happy, man. I'm excited for October ball. I'm way more optimistic than I was a month ago. And I was still kind of optimistic at that
you're
point.
Mr. Optimism on this show.
It's like the only thing in life I can be optimistic about is the Yankees. Anything else, I'm totally a glass half empty type of dude. Like, no, I don't
Hey,
want to
man,
do that.
nothing wrong with that. That's why we have our sports teams. I will sit here and admit that I could have egg on my face from just what I've said about this team
But they
past
deserved it.
weeks.
Like, it wasn't wrong, anything anyone else was saying, you
Yeah.
know?
So we're gonna find out. I mean, they're in a position to get that division,
Get the
and we're gonna
bye.
see how. Yeah, because they would then have the most wins potentially in all the American League, and we know
Is
that.
nuts, dude, to
Well, we
say.
know too. I think I've made the point before that this Yankees team, all the series within this Boone era, we were talking about the Boone era Yanks. They're all when they have all the wins of their series in this regime has come when they have home field advantage. When they
Hmm.
have the home field advantage for these series, that is what goes down. And two, I'm loving the fact that the Cleveland Guardians could be back in this and get in the postseason because I'd like to play them again.
That
If
The
I think
Tigers are going to mask how bad the Mets collapse is.
I told you, Tyler, you need those AL Central teams to get in this postseason, and that is a
Nice warm up.
good cooking for the Yanks. But we're gonna find out. We got a series to talk about, and we're
Yep.
in playoff mode. If you're watching on YouTube, we got some playoff vibes, some fall vibes. We're not officially in October, but I think it is October. Technically, the playoffs are now starting on September 30th, so they're going a little bit
Mhm.
before the month of October. It seems like just with the expanded wild card. But hey, October's here, man. That's the way I'm feeling. I'm glad that we're out of summer. I'm not the biggest fan of summer, which may be weird to some people, but
Same,
I
dude.
am a fall guy.
Yeah.
I am a
hmm
fall guy.
This is where
So
me and Rob will always be in lockstep.
I am loving the fact that we're getting to fall, the crisp weather, a little
I,
pumpkin spice here and
little
there.
pumpkin spice. I will say I've been routinely bothered with the couple 80-degree days we've had.
That's true. It was
Yeah,
muggy and disgusting in New York yesterday. I was
yeah,
walking
dude.
in
I
the
look at
city.
my
It was
phone this morning too, and I'm like, 78? Fuck is
get
that?
a turtleneck weather, Yankee
61,
turtleneck
a high
weather.
of 61,
That's
high of
what we need.
58.
That's what we
Slight
need.
wind, shorts and a hoodie.
So let's get into these games. If it is also your first time joining us for the pod, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment of what you think of this Yankees team. Also, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and follow us on our social channels at Four Savages on X, at Four Train Savages on Instagram, as well as TikTok. Really growing over there. So happy to see that. Thanks for joining us if you're new. Or if you're maybe a Jays fan, hate watching a little bit and seeing what the pulse is
We're
on the
happy.
Yankees. So let's talk about the games quickly and then just about some other storylines surrounding the team. So, game number one for the Yankees was a 3-2 victory. This came in dramatic fashion for how they then clinched a official playoff spot. It started with an Austin Wells double in the bottom of the second. I will say too, just talking about Austin Wells, he is now having a little bit of a resurgence, Tyler.
Yeah,
He's
he's come
hitting
around.
very well. He hit some balls in Baltimore. He's getting it going a little bit because he had just flat out just a disappointing season for the expectations of what we had.
And he lost playing time, man.
We know that he when he does hit, it's extra base hits, it's home runs, but in terms of getting on base consistently, some opportunities where you think that he could be making an impact, he wasn't doing that, but
hmm
it's very good to see him kick it back in gear. Luis Heel in this 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, three strikeouts, 2 walks. Luis Heel is, I think, there's going to be a little bit still of a debate of who that third starter is. We're going to find out
Well,
potentially. I mean,
they lined up Schlitter to start a game three.
yeah,
So
I
that's kind of hard to ignore, honestly.
yeah, I think
Surprising to me, though.
I think it could. It depends on if they're like in the wild card. I
hmm
definitely think that if they're playing a game three, they could shift things around. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, they could.
That where it lines up now, and I'm not mad at it.
I'm not
I
mad.
thought
I was
I thought
surprised.
I thought Luis Heel would be the third starter in a series, and he still could
hmm
be if they win the division, and then that's how they end up going later. But we're gonna
People are
find
just
out. We're
scared of
gonna
the
see,
walks with heel, man.
and that's fair because Luis Heel, it's
But then can
a
you put him in the
thread.
pen? Like, no, you can't put a
Yeah,
guy you're scared to walk in the pen, really. Or,
no, it's fair because then
I
it
don't
just.
know.
I don't know how I feel about Luis Heel either coming out of the pen. Really.
No, because
Uh,
he's too wild. That's what I'm saying. He either
yeah,
needs to start or do nothing.
yeah. In this one, uh, Montgomery was able to hit a home run for the White Sox, put them up 2-1. And then in the bottom of the ninth, the Yankees were able to tie it with a lot of base traffic. And then Jose Caballero single to center to get in Aaron Judge. Couple intentional walks in this game as well for Aaron Judge.
Yeah, they walked him the whole series. It was
They're
ridiculous.
trying to not allow him to win the MVP, I
Yeah,
guess, and we'll have a little bit of conversation there. Although I'm shifting my focus away from the MVP debate because it's just
bigger and better things, brother.
it's really what it is. But we'll get into that later. Yankees win this one though. Nice celebration in the clubhouse. Also, it's funny every year, Tyler, that when they celebrate clinching a playoff spot, people like forget that they do that every year. Every year. Why are they celebrating a playoff clinching? They play 162 games.
And every team celebrates. Like,
Every
let
team
them.
does it.
And it was quick. It wasn't a huge,
Yeah.
crazy thing this year.
But it for me, I get it in baseball. I really get it in baseball that you play so many games for these guys are going to the ballpark every day. If there is a sport
Hmm.
that they deserve to do that kind of celebration, I think it's baseball. You
Yeah.
want to debate about basketball or football or hockey or any other sport, whatever. I just think that baseball, for the grind that it is for a whole entire summer, that they deserve to do that. And
Yeah. It's basically February to October.
yeah, you go into spring training and
Yeah.
it's a lot of
It's a
part of
long
your
time.
life, and like think about their families they're celebrating. It's a lot of
Hmm.
their lives. So people every year forget the fact that they do that.
And that they're
And
humans, dude, you know?
it's amazing.
Like
So
it's a new team every year. Like Belly's never celebrated getting in the postseason, you know,
well, yeah.
with the
Oh,
Yankees.
with the I was like, he's
Yeah.
World Series champion.
But like McMahon's coming off of like, you know, a decade in the worst sports team in North America. Like, yeah, that guy deserves to celebrate getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. Game number two, Yankees win this one 8-1. There's two Aaron Judge home runs, a Trent Grisham home run. Jazz also with a double. Goldie got himself an RBI. Max Fried wins his 19th game of the year, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Max Fried is back looking good. This is his last start of the year. He won't pitch this weekend. Him and Rodon had their last start, so they will be the two horses there will be rested for
Hmm.
potentially wild card or even more rest with a division series that they would play. So this one was kind of a easy handled game, 8-1 for the Yanks, and good stuff, just good vibes coming off that celebration. And then last night, Tyler, full transparency, I was at a concert last night, so I didn't watch this game. So you were more locked in, so I'll hand it over to you. What
Yep.
did you see? What were like the big things from this game?
Let me pull up the little box score real quick.
Hmm.
I mean, first thing, right, is like I was big on, I wanted Rodon to go out on a good note, which tough to not do when you're playing the White Sox.
Hmm.
But not his best start, but he pitched well again. I mean, Rodon comes to a close in terms of his season. I think he had a very nice season, but in the first, Rob, Yanks get on the board early with a Rice ground out to the pitcher.
Hmm.
Um, Grisham scoring. They kind of really should have broke the game open in the first inning. Honestly, I think Stanton struck. I think it was bases loaded, no outs, and they didn't end up getting more than one run. I know Stanton struck out. Um, I don't know what happened after Stanton, but scored one in the first, and it felt like they should have unlocked a lot more there. So I was a little nervous after that. Jolks hits a sac fly to center in the second for Chicago, tied it at one, and then Taylor. A nice little two-run shot off Rodon made it 3-1 in the fourth. And this is when bats got quiet for 4 innings for the Yankees, if you will.
Hmm.
So there was a little bit of worry there. I think Boston went down 4-0 at the time. So you're like, shit, if you lose today, and Toronto wins, bye bye division type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but then in the fifth, bases were juiced again. Stanton's up, hits a chopper to third, like a hard ground ball chopper type of thing. Um, More than anything, a really bad play by the Chicago White Sox third baseman, I'd say. Rule that double didn't look like it necessarily should have been. But that puts the Yanks ahead from 3-1 up to 4-3. And then Wells, a very much needed insurance run in the seventh after a Stanton walk. Dominguez pinch runs. Wells doubles to center. And you got a 5-3 game, Rob. Weaver comes in, looks good. Um, Goes Rodon to Weaver, came in, looked good. Devin looked pretty good. He gave you a little scare at the end just because that's how he does a walk and then a double or a walk and a single, I think it was, and then a long fly out. And then Bednar came in and has been absolutely freaking nails lately. It's just fun watching that guy have 4 pitches he can throw for strikes. He's got the big splitter, he's got the curveball, he's got the fastball that he can dial up, and he locates all of them. So a nice little W yesterday. And it was beautiful. You had to sweep the White Sox to still have a chance at the division. They did that, Rob. For some reason, I wasn't super amped for this game last night, but game one and game two, I was fired up.
Hmm.
A little sitting on the end of my ottoman type of deal.
I,
Excited.
I mean, you should be. They're making a little bit of a statement. I know that they were the ones that gave the division away in a sense to the Jays
Mm-hmm.
months ago now, or a month ago, and now they're making a push. And we knew that the last 2 weeks. I think I talked about it with you at the end of August. I said, and we both all really knew after the 2 week stretch, being that they performed well there. You say there's a little room if other teams. I don't know if I said that the division was going to be in reach, but
Mhm.
it checks out when you think about it
Just
all
so many
together.
ebbs and flows for the whole
And
league over 162.
yeah, so that it's good stuff for this Yankees team and feeling good heading into a playoff race. Let's do before we talk about other topics that are of mind for Yankee fans. Let's do our savages of the series.
My guys are fucking savages in that fucking box, right?
I am going to go with Carlos Rodon. I don't think that
Let's go,
he didn't have
Rob.
the best line from out of the pitchers of this week, gave up the most earned runs, but he went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 18th win of the season, as well as 200 strikeouts on the year, which was very good for him, being that we always think of him more as a strikeout pitcher, but he's evolved a little bit as he's been a Yankee. Carlos Rodon, a I am a doubter of his, at least in big games, and we're going to see what he does because now he's going to be relied upon in the postseason because there
Mhm.
is no Garrett Cole. There is no bigger bona fide ace. Oh, well, there is Max
Well, he's
Fried,
still the two. He was the two last year. He's the
but
two this year.
yes. And so there's going to be a lot expected from him. There's going to
Hmm.
be a lot expected from Carlos Rodon. And you said it right that it's good that Carlos had a solid final start to the season now heading into October because when we think about how this Yankees team can make a run, we think about, yes, the offense is good, but then you're also thinking about the two horses there of Max Fried and Carlos Rodon. And I am a little skeptical of what Carlos Rodon can do in October. And I think a lot of Yankee fans are also a little skeptical. But hey, we're here rooting for you. If there was ever a time for you to turn things around and be a big game pitcher, this is the run to potentially do it. And so that's one really big storyline heading into the October month to say, all right, Carlos, let's see it. Let's go out there and do it. But that's who I'm going to go with for my savage of the series for this one. Who would you go with?
Let's go, Rob. Listen, if the Yankees want to do actual damage, Rodon's got to be pitching well.
Mm-hmm.
Ends the year with 4.6 WAR, a 3.09 ERA, and 195 innings pitched. So great award, Rob. Very easy to argue. One of, you know, if not the second best season of his career, it's probably the third. Um, Good year out of Rodon. Let's see what he can do in October, and hopefully everyone's got some confidence in him moving forward. I would like to give it to. There's so many people it can go to. It can go to Grish. It can go to, um, you know, you can almost give some pride stuff to Volpe here because he kind of started off the game one, comeback in the ninth. You could give it. Belly came out of a little bit of a slump. Stanton came out of a little bit of a slump in this series. Everyone kind of got right in terms of hitting, but I'm going to make it easy, Rob. It's going to go to Aaron Judge. Um, he hit 2 homers in the second game, 3 hits in the second game as well. 5 hits total, 3 runs scored, 2 homers, 4 ribbies, and he walked 6 times in 3 games, Rob. Yankees have enough protection around Judge where if you walk him, you're typically in trouble. And I don't really know what the White Sox were doing, to be honest. So I'm going to give it to Aaron Judge because, as we know, Rob, if he goes, the Yanks
The Yankees
should go
go.
as well.
The Yankees
Um,
go.
so I know, it sucks to even say this out loud, but I know you know it, and I know all us Yankee fans know it. Judge is Aaron Judge, and he's the best right-handed regular season hitter of all time, I feel like, at this point. Um, it's got to happen in the postseason. He's on a roll right now. Carry it into whenever we're playing in a meaningful October game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Judge just for being there. being judged.
I will say though, I was doing some comps. The only other ones that you said best right-handed, I would say outside of him, I would put Pujols though too. I think
Yeah,
Pujols.
I guess I'm talking. I was thinking American League, honestly, was
Yeah,
in
oh,
my
that's
head.
fair. That's fair. Or maybe Miggy, but we don't have to have that debate. But I think
Yeah.
that the big thing that is happening now, and is going to talk about this last weekend. I guess it's a good as time as ever to mention it. And is this MVP race, and we talked about it last week, and we're not going to go into the full thing because me and you are both on the same page, and I don't even think it's Yankee bias. They're talking East Coast bias, blah 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 blah. When you look at all the numbers broken down that you have to take into account, I think Aaron Judge is the MVP.
Mhm.
And the big talking point, and listen, MVP in any sport is narrative driven, and the media members are the ones who vote for it. So that's for Cal Raleigh, who is a catcher, who is helping lead the team to a potential division title since I think 21 years or something around there, since like Ichiro was playing and Ken Griffey. It's a big deal, and that's going to be what's going to win him the MVP and hitting the 60 home runs, potentially breaking Aaron Judge's 62 home run record if he has a good weekend and he hits 3 home runs this weekend. And so
I don't even get that narrative, dude. Like if the okay, if they win their division, okay, you play in a terrible division outside of you and the Astros. So if the Yankees finish with the wild card and have more wins, does that mean well Judge led them to more wins?
listen, man,
Stupid.
I don't know. I think and it really, it's just, I've come to the realization, and with this MVP debate race, I think that a lot of Yankee fans, sure, you always want to be an advocate for Judge and you want to be like in his corner. And of course, you're going to want to do that. I'm a big fan of Aaron Judge. All Yankee fans are big fans of Aaron Judge. But I got to be honest, now that we are approaching October, I'm shifting my focus to be like, I don't care about the MVP race anymore
Hmm.
because the bigger fish to fry, and we just all have to acknowledge it, it's the elephant in the room, is how he's going to perform for the next 2 to 3 weeks or however long that they are going to be in October. That is what we're going to be focused on because,
That's all that matters.
and I was thinking about this, that, and I don't know how you felt. I watched a little bit of it last year, but, and I saw the conversation of it on Twitter when MLB Network had him on last year in December for his MVP award announcement. It was cool. It's acknowledging a historic season, another great season. But I got to be honest, as a fan, I was saying to myself, oof, the wound is still a little fresh from what we saw in October with him. And it didn't necessarily carry the 2024 MVP that he won didn't necessarily carry the same weight for me as it did in 2022
Oh, 2022 is
because
his first one.
it was his first one, and the body of the evidence that we saw from October was just, there were times where I was just super frustrated with him. And
Hmm.
we were saying, man, that's the spot to come up big. And I don't want to, he had the home run off Clase, and I don't want to be here
And he had the
saying
big game five where
he
it
had
looked
the
like he
game
was about
five
to
home
break
run,
out.
and it looked like he did, but
He
we
just
didn't get to
wasn't Aaron Judge. He wasn't
he
like an automatic out necessarily. He just wasn't 1,000 OPS dude
he wasn't. And
by any means.
here's how I'll put it is we are expecting the postseason that we saw last year from Soto or the postseason that we saw from Stanton. That's what we want for Aaron Judge.
Needs to happen.
That's what needs to happen because the noise is going to get even worse. But we're both big supporters of Aaron Judge. We're Yankee fans. We want to see him do that. But when it comes to this MVP debate in the regular season, honestly, Yankee fans shouldn't really care. You
Hmm.
shouldn't care.
At least in
And
this point of the season.
at this point in the season, whatever. We've seen him do this. We now want to see him and hope to see him do what he's doing now in the month of October. That's all we
Mhm.
care about. And that's all you should care about at this point. Yes, it's going to be awesome to see him if he does win it. You're going to be a fan of his, but listen, that's where my mindset is, and I see like MLB Network's talking about it every day.
Dude,
ESPN now is
MLB
talking
Network
about it.
is a
Oh, they
freaking
are
joke,
shills
dude.
for Cal Raleigh. But listen, I mean, I
I
saw
understand how that's half their job. Is like they
it is.
have to create
But
some sort
man,
of
I was
competition.
watching some clips of like their media personalities that we follow on our socials,
Hmm.
and I think one of them was making the defense debate. Which listen, I know that he's crouching, and I know that Cal Raleigh's behind the dish, but they're bringing up a platinum glove level catcher. He's not a platinum
No.
glove level catcher this year. If you want to do that, Aaron Judge with his 50th home run became I think it's the fourth player to have at least four 50 home run seasons.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
lump in those. If you're going to talk about a platinum glove from last year, bring in other 50 home run seasons if you want to do
Yeah.
that. But listen, I don't care about the MVP debate at this point. We're going to get more into the Judge postseason talk with our postseason preview episode, but that's where I'm at, and I don't know if you're on the same boat. I know
I mean, I'm.
you're very. I'm not. Last year, I was all in on him being. I said Judge is going to be good, and it was egg on
I
my
think
face.
it was personally. I think Witt and Judge were closer than this. Honestly, I think Bobby Witt from last year and Aaron Judge were a closer debate than this. That's how fucking ridiculous I think this is, honestly. And the thing but first of all, Rob, I'm in lockstep with you. I think any Yankee fan would prefer the Yankees make it to the World Series and Cal Raleigh wins the MVP. Then Judge wins the MVP and they're a first round exit. I think every Yankee fan would probably agree with that. At least if you're a fan of the Yankees, you should. If not, you're probably not an actual fan. The thing that bothers me the most, and I won't go too far, but I was doing some baseball reference, my little Google searches, as I like to do in my free time.
Yeah,
And the thing I keep hearing is a catcher has never done this. They've never done it, Rob. And listen, I would like to
Joe
adjust.
Mauer.
That's where I'm getting. Exactly.
I
2009,
know what
baby.
you're thinking, man.
Listen, a catcher has never hit 60 homers. We can say that. But dude, Joe Mauer let me read off Cal Raleigh's stats this year, his splits. He obviously has 60 homers, 125 RBIs. He's played 156 games. So he has a 247 batting average, a 360 on base, and a 594 slug, a 954 OPS, a 171 OPS plus. Joe Mauer, in 138 games in 2009, had a 7.8 WAR to Cal's 7.2 this year in 156 games. So more WAR in less time. 365 batting average, 444 on base, 587 slug, 1,031 OPS, 171 OPS plus. I don't know, Robin. In my head, that is clearly the better season. I understand, like Joe Mauer had 28 homers that year. So, like, yes, he didn't hit 60 homers. I don't know, man. I want the guy that has 122 higher points of a batting average, gets on base at a 450 clip, and still slugs ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has been a catcher that's been this offensively good. I think this guy just slugs more.
Yeah. No, I someone posted yesterday somewhat of a similar comp to it was the Mantle Maris debate of 61. This is now the talking point of this modern debate is just Cal with his catching ability, which I think should be accounted for, but I do think people are milking it a little bit too much with this.
Yeah, it's not like he's like I don't understand.
But when you look at the splits for Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, it's very, very, very similar to what we see with Judge and Cal Raleigh. Mantle had a 317 batting average to Maris's 269, 448 on base to a 372, a 687 slug to a 620 slug, and then a 1.135 OPS to a 993 OPS. Even then, I think that Maris has a little bit more of a debate because he's almost one dotting there. A 206 OPS plus and a 167 OPS plus. And then Maris, we know, had the 61 home runs, but it's not like Mantle had 54. So very similar there, I think. I think that is a very comparable thing. But of course, we know that, hey, the catching is a big thing that people want to milk. So,
but I would understand that. Listen, this is where the catching thing should come into play. If the numbers were close, but they're not. Like if they had the same splits,
Uh-huh.
right? Judge Cal's batting 330, getting on base 450, blah 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 blah, and the numbers are close.
No,
Then
I
okay,
agree. Yeah.
okay, you're a catcher, cool. You get a little momentum for that. But we're not. We don't get to just act like, all right, oh, he's a catcher, so we get to forget the 200 OPS points difference
No,
here.
I was
Different
texting,
zip codes,
I
brother.
was texting with some people that are on the Cal Raleigh bandwagon and somewhat Yankee haters, and I know we all have those in our we all have those people in our
Yeah.
lives, and it's just I really when it comes down to it, as I said, it was a narrative. It's a narrative driven award. It is in other sports. They do it for football. They do it for basketball. It'd probably be LeBron James every year as an MVP, or want to say Patrick Mahomes. Although recent years, I don't want to get into football talk, but he's probably not as good as what he was, but still amazing.
Almost like
Point is,
Lamar. Lamar
yeah.
kind of got
Point is
screwed
that
last year.
that guy every year could win the MVP, but sometimes it's man, that guy's having a historic season. He's doing so good. You got to give him the MVP. But it comes back to the fact that if you're starting a team and if you want a season for a winning season, you're taking Judge's season. Gets on base, hitting over 320, gets on base, slugs, still giving you 50 bombs. And people are also acting like
It's not like he
Judge's
has
defense.
35 homers. Yeah.
And then they're saying, well, Judge is a DH for 40 games. Okay.
Okay, how many games has Cal DH this year? I guarantee. I'll Google it right now.
I think he's caught 130 or 120 games, I want to say. So I don't know how many of that he's
Cal Raleigh caught this year. Help me, AI.
I think Baseball Reference will tell you.
It says he's caught 100. AI says he's caught 155 games, which is obviously not right because he's only played 156. They're 158.
Fix your AI, Google, please.
Oh, 119.
Yeah, so that is around 120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, buddy, you're TH in 40 games as well. Fuck out of here. Dude, also, Judge missed like 10 games. If he had 10 games, maybe he finishes with 55 homers, 54.
Probably maybe 60.
Yeah. It's just we're spending too much time on this already.
Yeah. All right, let's do our I'm going to do our Savage Slump Watch.
They stink.
I don't want to necessarily do this.
I don't know who to give it to.
I have one. I guess I could do it together, or it'll be a joint one. And you can tell me if you disagree. I'm going with Ryan McMahon for this one.
Yes, that's great. Actually, perfect.
1 for 7, 4 strikeouts. I think we haven't really spoken too much about Ryan McMahon.
He's been bad for a little bit, dude. Offensively,
and so he's still. I still love the presence that he gives us at third base because of where we started the year with defensively. And I think I mean I would be lying if I didn't say that I said earlier in the season that I would take a stud defender at third base if it meant just having that and not having
it works with the
Jazz
lineup
Chisholm at
being
third.
good.
Yes, and we don't need all stars at every position, and I definitely subscribe to that. For the year, he has a 213 average, 19 home runs, 52 RBIs, a 688 OPS. I think for this season, I think that it's perfectly fine. I think in other years, he would be probably more of a scrutinized player, but being that he came in, vibes didn't change too much, kept it going, and I had a couple walk-offs. I know at least one walk-off. But McMahon, I don't have I told you when it happened, I don't really see him being a offensive force. It was just a matter of
I don't think so either.
having a person that can play the position of third base well. So, but I think it's important to acknowledge how he's really not been good offensively.
Yeah.
And this series was evidence of that. For his last 15 games, it's rough. Last 15 games, 42 at-bats, 18 strikeouts, 2 RBIs, no ding-dongs, a 119 average, 213 on base, and a 143 slugging. So that's ugly.
Yeah, 143
That's not what you want.
Worse. It can't get worse than that, really.
So, yeah.
I'll hop on there with you, Rob.
Because really, the rest of the team was good. Really, you can't find any sore spots, I think, but McMahon is the one that stands out.
Yeah,
Depends on
McMahon
the
is
economy.
pretty close to Volpe in terms of like an automatic out, or you hope he runs into something at this point. It is weird, to be honest, as a fan, that McMahon has kind of just been swept under the rug and has not had much criticism. Um, but it's valid, right? I think the only thing with McMahon is like at least he gives you a little bit of on base stuff. Um, the batting average has not necessarily been there. He's still getting on base at a 307 clip. It's like not where you want it to be, but he's not sitting in Wells Volpe territory by any means. Um, but yeah, it needs to be better. Um, you kind of just hope the offense keeps going, so you don't notice it as much. But he's not Peraza.
Nah.
He was like a negative OPS plus, I think.
And just he gives you a presence at third base that you need. So all right, let's talk about some other milestones for the Yankees that we didn't really talk about over the last weekend. Jazz Chisholm joins the 30-30 club. And he also had some comments, not, I think it was to Chris Kushner again of The Athletic,
Mhm.
where he was saying, because, I mean, his contract's coming up. He's going
I
to have
love
some
Jazz's comments.
negotiations. And I think, let me find the exact quote. Yeah, he said, I don't want to leave New York. If you've ever played here, you would never want to leave it. It depends on if they want me. That's the difference. Do they want a 40-40 player? You tell me. So it's already like Jazz is already looking at that 40-40 season. And
Because he missed a month. He's like, I
yeah,
am a 40-40
I
player.
think I know Jazz is definitely a player that I think I want part of this team. I will say the thing that bothers me about him is I like players that can run their mouth but also back it up. And I do like I have visions of the Kansas City series last year and how he talked all that
Yeah.
smack and then just sucked. So I'm hoping that he doesn't do that necessarily again. We know that the confidence is there, and I like the confidence. You should
hmm
feel like you're gonna win. But with Jazz, it's that all right, dude, put the rubber to the road. Let's see it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna find out. And I mean, I would not be surprised if we're talking about more comments from him in this playoffs. So expect it, and he should. But I hope that he needs to back it up. He needs to
Yeah.
put it behind. Put the show us the evidence. So
Put your money where your mouth is. But yeah,
yeah,
no, man, I love Jazz. I hope he's part of the Yankees long term. Dude's still 27. Really put up one of the better seasons he's ever had. My big thing going into this year was him staying healthy. He missed a month and still put up very good numbers for the year. Um, with Jazz, man, yeah, I hope he doesn't directly just kind of, run his mouth and then not back it up, as you said. But like, for example, like the quotes about like the 30-30 and 40-40 stuff. Like I remember the full interview, like one of the reporters asked him like, well, are you proud of this? And he's like, yeah, but I'd be like way more proud with the World Series ring on my finger. Like that's the most important thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to hear. Um, so I hope Jazz can go on a little tear this postseason, man, because that's not something we saw last postseason. What, he had like one big homer, I think it was, and outside of that, he didn't do much. He was kind of a liability there. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping Jazz can kind of figure it out. One thing that's kind of been floating under the rug too is Stan's been striking out at a ridiculous clip. Some of the
yeah,
production is still there, but he's striking out. I think I don't know. They said on the broadcast, Rob. I don't remember what the exact quantifiable stat it was, but it was something like over the last like 60 ABs, you struck out like 48% of the time. I'm like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. But you kind of can't doubt Stan in October until you have a reason to. So it's all just hoopla, to be honest.
yeah. I think he's gearing up to be able to turn it on, and
Yeah.
I expect him to perform well in
Yeah.
October. He also hit his 450th career home run against
Oh, yeah.
the Orioles, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, so Yankees this weekend. Speaking of the Orioles, they play three more against the Baltimore Orioles, and they will finish out the season. We're going to find out if they will be a wild card team or if they're going to win this division. And it would be pretty. I don't want to say miraculous because they had a division lead and then they gave it up, but it would be a pleasant surprise that after where we were that hey,
hmm
to take it over. So I
No
mean
one thought this was possible the last 2 months.
so Jays play the play the Rays, and
Yep.
then the Yankees play Baltimore. I would say, with how Baltimore has been
It's
playing
not going to be
better,
easy though.
I think it's sort of an even playing field. I would say the Rays are a better team, but
Mhm.
it's very much 50-50 in my mind. It really is 50-50.
Yeah, if not lean Toronto a little bit because we're still down a game virtually.
And too, the Yankees aren't pitching their two studs. Where
No,
I
it's
think
it's
Rogers,
Warren, Heel, Schlitter.
isn't it? Rogers is pitching tonight for Baltimore. Is
Yep,
he not? Yeah,
it's Rogers.
who's been a elite.
I mean, he's been disgusting. It's Rogers, Sugano, and what's the dude's name? Cray Bradish.
Mhm.
So that their three best pitchers are going against us,
Yeah. So that is
and our three worst starters.
we're gonna find out, man. We're gonna find out.
It could virtually end tonight, right? I mean, if the Yanks lose and they lost against Rogers, what, a week ago, 10 days ago,
Mhm.
whatever that was.
Yeah.
If they lose tonight and Toronto wins, I mean, virtually if the Yankees lose any ground, in my opinion, we're done there. We're done here. It's like you're up for the wild card.
But you go out and sweep, and
or go 2-1, and Toronto goes 1-2.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you see George Springer comments, man, wild.
Oh, about the
If you want to
how he
give it
got
to New
caught
York
by
already,
John
yeah.
Boy. Yeah, they caught that.
Like in the heat of the moment, that's what you're saying. Like I get, like maybe like to
Yes, because
your buddy after.
that third base umpire is probably, they got to find out if he's a Yankee fan or not.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have the Yankees been absolutely screwed this year? Many times.
Couple times. So that is it for episode 222. We're gonna do a podcast before the playoffs start, after we learn what happens with this team, if they're going to be a wild card team or if they're going to be in the division series. So we'll do a little playoff preview episode and then talk about, because we can't really talk about it until we know where they're seated, where they're going. So be sure to look out for that in the next couple days, or at the start of the week next week. But thank you guys for joining us. Leave us a rate and review. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment there. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, and follow us on our social channels. Let's go Yanks. Win this division. Give us some excitement and set yourselves up for a good seeding and a good position in this 2025 playoffs. And then we'll be feeling good, man.
It's goodbye, man.
I don't feel good. That's it for episode 222. We'll catch you at 223. Peace.